Welcome to the Unveiling the South Pacific with Avanti Destinations webinar, featuring insider tips, hidden gems, and unforgettable experiences. I'm Steve Grasso, Senior Editor of Recommend, and I'll be your host for the session. Avanti Destinations is selling a trio of South Pacific destinations, including Australia, Fiji, and New Zealand. Whether it's Australia's rugged outback, Fiji's pristine beaches, or New Zealand's breathtaking fjords, the region is bursting with diverse landscapes and an incredible spectrum of scenery for your clients seeking adventure and natural beauty. In this webinar, you'll learn more about booking travel to the South Pacific with Avanti Destinations, including an overview of the South Pacific, unique vacation experiences, exclusive advisor resources, and more. Our featured speakers from Avanti Destinations include Gina Bang, Director of Marketing, Nate Guilfoyle, Director of Web Services, and Janet Pina-Barisut, Senior Product Manager. There'll be a Q&A after the presentation, so please enter any questions that you may have for our speakers into the chat box, and we'll get to those following the session. Also, feel free to introduce yourselves in the chat and let us know where you're from. Also, 2 lucky attendees of this webinar will win a $25 Amazon gift card, so make sure to stay on to the end when we'll announce the winners. Everyone will also be receiving an email with a recording of the webinar in the next few days. Thank you to Avanti Destinations for this webinar, and I'll now pass you over to our speakers for their presentation.
Well, thanks so much, everyone. My name is Gina Bang. I am the Director of Marketing here at Avanti. We are really excited. We launched the South Pacific back on September 12th. So we are a few weeks in and already seeing many of your new bookings and quotes. So just a short agenda for today's presentation. I want to give you an introduction of Avanti Destinations for those of you who may not be familiar with us. Janet's going to give us an overview of these 3 dynamic countries. She's been to all of them herself, so you'll get her firsthand experiences and recommendations of the different reasons why to go to these places, and also just the wonderful experiences that your clients can have there. We're going to go through some of our personal recommendations, and we're going to wrap it with some tools and resources that you can use at the end to help market yourself in the South Pacific to your customers following the presentation today. We're also going to give you a very short demonstration of our website. Nate is going to walk you through some key areas to find these resources online. So Avanti Destinations, we were founded back in 1981. Actually, we just celebrated our 42nd anniversary on October 1st. So we have over 4 decades of experience when it comes to creating beautiful customized vacations for your clients. Our headquarters is based in lovely Portland, Oregon, where we have about 130 staff working in and around the Portland metro area. But we also do have our offices in Washington State. They handle all of our customized group departures, and they create all of these bespoke customized vacations for your clients that are traveling in a group of 15 people or more. We have our office over in Barcelona, Spain. So they really work with our suppliers in Europe on your clients' booking confirmations. You know, during the hours when we're all asleep, they're busy on your clients' bookings and working with our suppliers on all of the great land accommodations for your customers. They also have many of our operation team members based there. So they serve as our layer of service. So if your clients are traveling and any questions or issues pop up along the way, they are really there to help them and be the helping hand of Avanti in Europe. Of course, we also work with local DMCs in every destination that we sell, so they always have someone locally to help them if any questions arise during their trip. We recently announced at the beginning of this month that we are also operating a new call center. So that's going to be based in Manchester, England. So that is in progress now. We hope to open fully in the very beginning of Q1. So look forward for more news on that. But they will be helping all of our clients that are based on the East Coast and in the Midwest when it comes to those early office hours. So currently we are open from 6 a.m. Pacific time or 9 a.m. Eastern. And once that office is up and running, you will be able to call in at 3 a.m. Eastern time to talk to one of our knowledgeable travel consultants. At Avanti, we are 100% B2B, which means we only work with travel advisors and agencies. We never sell or market directly to consumers. We sell over 60 countries in Europe, Central and South America, North Africa, the Middle East, Asia, and now the South Pacific. And when it comes to creating these beautiful customized vacations with Avanti, what we want you to remember is we really are your one-stop travel source for all things related to FITs. So of course, that starts with getting your clients to the destination. We have a variety of air contracts, both contract tour airfare as well as published airfare. The contracts do have a commission of up to 5% on that base fare, which is great for you. And we also have the flexible payment with our contract tour airfare, which means that for $400 per ticket in economy or $1,000 per ticket in first or business class, we can actually get your clients airfare ticketed much further in advance than final payment or full payment is required for those tickets. We have all the point-to-point transfers that you need. So on the ground, from the airport to the hotel, to a pier station, to rail station, or even city to city, we can help you with those private car and driver services. And in terms of accommodations, we have 3, 4, and 5-star hotels. Most of these are located right in the historic city center, so your clients can have a beautiful leisurely breakfast and then walk straight out the front door, start exploring that destination on foot. We also have airport hotel locations as well as unique accommodations, which are oftentimes way out in the countryside. So part of the accommodations out there really brings that destination to life. So think of Japanese ryokans, Italian villas, French chateaus, eco lodges in the Amazon, all sorts of fun stays. Tours and sightseeing, this is a lot of what Janet's going to be talking about today. So we do really have all sorts of options for all different budget levels, from shared sightseeing, small group to private. And then in terms of the types of tours your clients can take, it can be anything from a historical walking tour to a wine tasting out to the countryside. If your clients have families, they're traveling on their honeymoon, any sorts of activities they'd like to do. We really love to showcase the best those destinations have to offer. We now say that we sell rail on 4 continents. Of course, this primarily relates to the European rail lines where we have access to the high-speed rail network, scenic trains, and regional trains, as well as point-to-point tickets, seat reservations, rail passes, anything your clients may need in terms of rail travel, we can assist with. We also have rail in Asia, in Japan, and South Korea, down in Peru, and now in Australia and New Zealand. Small ship cruising is becoming very popular, so we consider small ship a vessel of 50 cabins or fewer. So we do have these options. You can think of these like in Croatia, Greece, Patagonia, the Amazon, the Galapagos, Halong Bay. So we do have many options, but also I bring this up today because of the pre and post cruising options that Avanti can help you with. So if your clients are doing a longer ocean-based cruise or a river cruise, and you're looking to also present a really amazing way to explore those port cities or even extend into a different country or other cities within that country, we can really help you put together something really special for your clients. This is also a great way if your clients are maybe a little shy about venturing off the cruise ship, to give them 3 or 4 nights before or after the cruise to really explore a little bit on land in that other country. Travel protection is still really important, and we do have a plan with our partners over at TripMate. We actually have 2. So we have our lead-in plan and then our upgraded plan, which includes CFAR or cancel for any reason. And just wanted to mention the travel protection plan pricing is really based on the package price, not on your client's age, which is much more streamlined, especially if your clients are traveling multi-gen on that trip. Makes it much easier to present to your customers. So in terms of the Avanti Traveler, we are seeing all sorts of travelers right now, from solo travelers to couples, small groups of friends and family using travel as a way to reconnect. We're seeing all ages. And really, the trend is right now for people to take longer trips. So, really, that's 14 days or more on the ground. We are seeing a lot of combinations. So, people combining either multiple cities or multiple countries on that trip using all of our connections, air, rail, point to point ground transfers, etc. What we're hearing from our advisor community is that as soon as your clients are coming home from their summer travels, they really want to book again. So hopefully we can inspire you and give you the tools needed to help position the South Pacific to your clients and hopefully get them traveling down there on their next Avanti vacation. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Janet to give us a virtual tour of the South Pacific.
Thank you, Gina, and good morning, everyone. Welcome to Avanti's South Pacific. Again, my name is Janet, and I am so happy that I'm here with you today. And I'm the lucky product manager that gets to oversee the South Pacific program here at Avanti. So today we'll go over 3 different destinations. These are brand new destinations that we literally just launched, I think less than a month ago. And we're gonna start today off with Australia. So if you don't know this before, Australia actually is about the same size as the US, but they're divided into just 6 different states and 2 territories, and they only got about 26 million people. They've got a few international gateways, Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Perth, and Adelaide, but the top 3 between Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane would be the main gateways from the US flights. And in terms of flights, LAX to Sydney takes about 15 hours and LAX to Melbourne takes about 15 and a half hours. And you can see here that it's actually not as far as you might have thought. For example, if I were to fly from, like SFO to, Europe, it will take me about the same time as flying, from San Francisco to, to South Pacific. And if I were to go to Southeast Asia, that takes me almost like, a whole day. So flying to South Pacific actually for me is quite convenient and not that far away. And within the country, we have Sydney to Melbourne, Brisbane to or Adelaide takes about 1.5 hours to 2 hours, and Sydney to Perth takes about 5 hours. So it's about the same as like San Francisco to let's say JFK. And within the country, besides flying, we also offer trains. So we have some train travels. We have the GAN train, the GAN Expedition, the Great Southern Train, and the Indian Pacific Train. In general, though, within Australia, we'll recommend flying just because it's really a big country. For example, if you look at Sydney to Melbourne, it doesn't look that far, right? But that in itself takes about like 9 hours. In terms of flying, we have contracts with United, Fiji Airways, and Air New Zealand. And within United, they're partners with Qantas, Air New Zealand, Virgin Australia, and Jetstar. Seasonality, Australia, have the opposite season than we have here in North America. Summer is December through February. Autumn is between March and May through May. Winter, June through August. Spring, September through November. And they also got this dry and wet season in the northern part of Australia, and it's between November through April. So since it's a large country, they have different climates. But even during the wet season, between this time, it's still really great to visit even in the North Queensland because the forest gets really lush and vibrant. So just don't let that, interrupt your plan if you're planning to go during this time. Currency, 1 Australian dollar equals 65 cents. So this is really great. They include tax and tip in the bill, so you know exactly what to expect. Time zone, they're between 15 to 17 hours ahead of Pacific time. In terms of highlights, I tell people all the time, I usually travel, my goal for traveling, I love the culture of each country. So that's usually my main focus. But for Australia, my top one would be to see the wildlife. It's definitely on top of, I'm sure a lot of people's list too. You get to see all these incredible animals. either in the wild or in the sanctuary. So, you get to see a lot of koalas, wallabies, and kangaroos in many places in Australia. But for some animals like Tasmanian devils or the quokkas, you definitely have to travel to some specific areas to see them in their real habitats. So we do definitely have tours offering in these destinations too. The Great Barrier Reef, it is the largest coral reef system in the world and is home to an incredible diversity of marine life, including colorful coral, sea turtles, reef sharks, and many different fish species. We do have tours going from Cairns, Port Douglas, or Hamilton Island. In terms of the outback, this is definitely one of the main draws here in Australia as well. The iconic landmarks would include something like Uluru, or you call the Ayers Rock, or the Kata Tjuta, which is in the Northern Territory. This is also an area where you'll find a lot of indigenous culture, who have lived in this region for thousands of years. The Aboriginal culture is also another highlight here in Australia. This is presented throughout the country. It is one of the oldest living cultures with a history spanning tens of thousands of years ago. They have, diverse range of language, art, tradition, and spiritual beliefs. One of my experiences in Australia, besides, I got to touch the koala, is actually the Dreamtime tour. Basically, this is where the Aboriginal guide share us a story, the beliefs that explain the origins of, how the land, plants, and animals and people connected. These are stories that have passed down through their generations. And food. This might not be on top of the list to a lot of people when they think of Australia, but Australia definitely has amazing options for food. They have anything from the great backyard style barbecue, and to the best seafood, including my favorite is the fresh oysters. And because Australia is also not that far away from Asia, they also get a lot of options for Asian food. For wine, I cannot, I love Italy. I've been there many, many times. But if your clients want to take a break from, their trips to Italy, Australia definitely have a lot of wine options. All their regions spreading across the country, from Tasmania, Victoria, to something like a warmer climates of South Australia, New South Wales, and the Western Australia. We offer a day tour from Sydney to the Hunter Valley, or basically all the tours from Adelaide, that include food, always have to have drinks that take them to the vineyards. Cities, Australia has plenty of cities, including Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, and Perth. I definitely fell in love with Sydney, but I also cannot get over, Melbourne. So I'm hoping to visit both of the cities again, but they have plenty of cities and nightlife for your clients if they're into that. Last but not least of the highlights, the iconic landmarks such as the Opera House and the Harbour Bridge in Sydney. I'm positive that 100% of our bookings would include Sydney, and your clients would have so many pictures of the Opera House by the end of their trip. Outside is beautiful, but I also recommend to take a quick tour at least inside of the Opera House, because here that would get to learn a lot about fun facts and the history of this piece of beautiful artwork. We offer a few tours, including a backstage tour of the Opera House. And for recommended vacations, we have a few packages in Australia. They're all, you can all customize them, all fully FIT. For this package, this is a very, lead-in package, which is Australia Essentials, Harbour, Rock and Reef. This is a great start if your clients don't know where to start with building their itinerary together. Obviously, this package departs daily because it's, all FIT, 10 days, 9 nights, 3 nights in Sydney, 2 nights in Uluru, and 4 nights in Cairns or Port Douglas. In terms of the inclusions, we included the morning panoramic Sydney City tour. This is basically a half-day tour, give clients a great glimpse of Sydney, because basically start to the tour around, the Opera House. You get to see Opera House, the Harbour Bridge, and part along, and then just like basically pass along, the city. So it's a great way to introduce the country when they first visit. And then Sydney Opera House tour. This one takes about an hour. You can be, anywhere from the morning till the afternoon. This is a beautiful, iconic landmark. So definitely would be one of the highlights here. And then the next day, clients would get to take their day trip to the Blue Mountain. So this is a deluxe experience, a small group tour. They basically get picked up from the hotel and then enjoy their day with the guide. Includes like morning tea and has some leisure time. And they'll get to have multiple stops basically along the way before they come back to Sydney. And then they'll get to see the Botanic Gardens before a drop off at the hotel. So this is a full day tour. And the next day, they'll be flying to Uluru. And at night, they'll be taking this incredible tour. It's a Field Lights tour with dinner. It's about 4.5 hours. Basically, they get to see the change of the scenery from sunset over the Uluru while sipping the sparkling wine. And then suddenly, this 50,000 like colorful glass spheres just come to life. Clients will get to enjoy the local indigenous performances before welcoming them to the dinner table for a special 3-course Bush Tucker inspired buffet menu. And the guide will also provide all the insights and the backgrounds of this installation. And then guests will also can enjoy themselves by walking through this field. Dinner would be delicious. They also have a sweet treats at the end before getting back to the hotel. And the next day, they will have some free time and then they'll join in this Uluru Sacred Sights and Sunset Tour. If your clients are morning, they're early birds and they don't mind waking up early, instead of doing the sunset tour, they can also do sunrise tour as well. So plenty of options here. We also have something like a dot painting too. And then the next day, clients would fly to Cairns, and they have option here whether to stay in Cairns or Port Douglas. For this itinerary, we include from Cairns, and then we include the Outer Reef cruise tour. This is the great, you can snorkel, and if your clients are scuba dives, certified with scuba diving, we can also book that for our clients as well. And the next day, this is also another special tour, which is a Daintree Dreaming Aboriginal Art and Culture Tour. It takes about 10 hours with maximum of 16 guests. Clients will get to enjoy this real Aboriginal cultural experience, including the storytelling through art. The tour will basically start in the natural beauty of the rainforest, and then they'll be with the Aboriginal guide the whole time. And the clients also can take part on this painting class with the Aboriginal artists. And then they'll get to take this unique piece back home with them. Later after that, they'll get to travel to the Musman Gorge, where they are welcomed with a traditional smoking ceremony conducted by the Aboriginal people before delicious lunch. And our package includes arrival and departure transfers per city, as well as daily breakfast. And in terms of other packages, we have Australia Escapes. This one is basically just Sydney and Port Douglas. And we have Australia Discovery, which is our longest itinerary right now. It's for 16 days and 15 nights, going from Sydney to Adelaide, Kangaroo Island, Melbourne, Uluru, and Cairns, or Port Douglas. In terms of accommodations, we have plenty of options starting from 3 stars to 5-star. For Sydney, we have the Grace Hotel Sydney, which we like to feature today. Is a 4-star property in the CBD area. And then we have Harbour Rocks Hotel Sydney, which is one of my favorite hotels, boutique. Really nice. They have delicious breakfast, even though it's not like all buffet, but they have like a really fresh a la carte like menu. It's really good. And then the Park Hyatt Sydney, which is more of a luxury hotel. This is where you'll find celebrities like staying here. They have a beautiful view of the Opera House that you can see here. And for Uluru, there are not that many options in Uluru, to be honest, but they're all really great properties. the first two are like 4-star property, and then the last one, the Longitude 131, is more of luxury, more glamping style, and they all include all these 3 properties include transfers. Longitude has their own transfers, and they also have some optional tours that can be booked at the hotel too. And then for cans, we have plenty of options in this area. The first one's actually from Port Douglas, and Peninsula Boutique Hotel is the only hotel that basically has a beautiful ocean view. I really like this hotel a lot too. It's within walking distance to many shops and restaurants. And then for the Crystal Brook Collection hotels in Cairns, these are also great, very newer hotels in a city, really centrally located. You can walk out to so many restaurants as well. And then, including, the aquarium too. So now we're moving on to New Zealand. For New Zealand, basically, it's about the size of the UK or the length of like California. It's not very big, and it's, even closer from the US. If you were flying from the West Coast, it would take about like 13 hours. And then the international gateways would be from the US would be mainly into Auckland or Christchurch, because United just launched some flights going to Christchurch, but majority of them, would be from flying to Auckland. Flights, again, LAX to Auckland is about 13 hours. And within the country, you can see here that Auckland to Wellington is about an hour, and Auckland to Queenstown is about 2 hours. And the main type of transportation here would be, I would recommend self-drive if your clients are comfortable. We have contracts with Hertz and Enterprise, and for Hertz, you can do one-way drop-off, but just have to be within the same island. And then for Enterprise, it has to be round-trip at the same, pick up and drop off the same location. So we have plenty of contracts for that. And in terms of air, we have contracts with Air New Zealand, Fiji Airways, and Hawaiian Airlines. And besides that, we also have some scenic trains too. We have Transalpine train from Christchurch to Arthur Pass or Greymouth, or Coastal Pacific train from Christchurch to Picton. Seasonality similar to Australia. Summer is between December to February. Autumn is between March through May. Winter is June to August, and spring September through November. Currency, one New Zealand dollar is about 60 cents. They also don't really practice much tipping here. It's more kind of included in the bill already, so you don't have to worry about that. And for time zone, there's 19 hours ahead of Pacific time, which I tell people all the time that I love this, because when I travel there, it's so different that it makes no difference. So I usually don't get jet lag at all when I travel into New Zealand or Fiji. And as for highlights, there's so many highlights here. In New Zealand, there would be something from like marine life to like the flightless birds, including their national bird, like the kiwis. So that's one of the highlights. And then for Maori culture, Maori are the indigenous people of New Zealand, and the language is also a national language, like besides English and New Zealand Sign Language. So when you're traveling in New Zealand, you'll see both of the languages together side by side with the Maori and then English. And if you want to discover Maori cultural experiences, the North Island is the place to visit, especially in the Rotorua area, which is known to be the cultural heart of New Zealand. Next, natural beauty. New Zealand is definitely the destination where you can enjoy numerous national wonders. They're offering stunning landscape, like ranging from, volcanoes, glaciers to breathtaking fjords. You think something is already a highlight, and then, they take a turn, and then you're like, wow, like you're still being so blown away. And I normally don't like small planes or helicopters. I usually avoid them, but for New Zealand, I think it's so worth it, and I feel really safe in them. I have done a few heli tours in New Zealand, and definitely I would feel like I missed out if I did not get to take at least one helicopter tours. And the Hobbiton, this definitely become a lot of people's highlights when they visit the North Island. And whether you're, movie fans or not, I would still recommend to visit here. And you can just go, as an adult too. You don't have to be kids because it's definitely incredible. So I have heard a lot of people who've been there and nobody was disappointed. So it was created as a movie set. It was situated in the working sheep farm in the countryside of the Matamata, which is between Auckland and Rotorua. So a lot of clients would basically pick up a car from Auckland and then like stop by here before they get to Rotorua. And they film both of the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbits here. Another highlight, New Zealand has amazing activities, especially for anyone who are adrenaline junkies like myself. They offer all kinds of thrilling activities, including anywhere from bungee jumping, skydiving, zip lining, what else? Jet boating, and many more. I, in fact, got to try a little bit of them. I did skydiving. I did not do zip lining this time, and bungee jumping, I think is still on my list, but I did a lot of jet boating and they're so amazing. And just like, they're so proud of their creations of jet boats. So if you don't know this, Kiwis actually invented the jet boats and also bungee jump. Plenty of outdoor exploration here because of their stunning landscape. It is definitely a dream destination for all outdoor enthusiasts. They can, engage in hiking, biking, or embark on this like off-road 4-wheel drive adventures to explore these rugged terrains. Cuisine, they're also known for their food. They got like high quality lamb, green lip mussels, salmon, and delicious cheese and wine. And my favorite is actually not food, but it's like this dessert. It's called like hokey pokey. So basically, it's like a hokey pokey. Usually in the is a flavor in the ice cream. So it's very popular flavor here in New Zealand, and it's basically a vanilla ice cream with like a crunchy bits of caramelized honeycomb toffee. It's so good. So if you try before, you know what I'm talking about. But if you have not, please try it when you visit New Zealand. They don't really have a lot here in the U.S., so I'm trying to see if I can find a recipe and make some myself. Vineyards, I mentioned that they're known for cheese and wine, but yes, wine is also another big draws here. The wine regions spread across the country, from the North Island to the South Islands, and then the most popular would have to be the Sauvignon Blanc. The area that's known for Sauvignon Blanc would be in the Marlborough, which is located in the northern tip of the South Island. And then for the North Island, there's still plenty of options too. They have the Hawke's Bay, which is known for their wineries as well. Besides Sauvignon Blanc, they also known for different types of varieties too. So they have got this whole wine map if you like to see, where to travel for food and wine. And in terms of packages at Avanti, today I would like to introduce you to this Best of New Zealand. This is a very lead-in package. You can see here it's only for 8 days and 7 nights. It is a quick itinerary. It's just to show you that, a lot of people always say like, oh, I need a lot of time before I can travel to South Pacific. This is to show you, you can see New Zealand in just a week. You can see South Pac within just a week. For this itinerary, we include 1 night in Auckland, 2 nights in Rotorua, 1 night in Christchurch, and then 3 nights in Queenstown. So since it's all FIT, if clients want to add more nights, you can do that as well. Or if you want to subtract something or add the different cities, you can totally do this really easily. And for inclusions, we include the Waitomo Cave tour and theater entrance. So this is a great, besides the Hobbiton, this would be a great way to stop by between Auckland and Rotorua. And basically the way it works is that clients would fly into Auckland and then get a private transfer pickup from airport to the hotel. And the next day, they'll pick up a rental car and then drive from Auckland, stop in Waitomo Cave, do the tour, and then get to Rotorua. And then they get to try on this amazing deluxe lake spa. get to relax. And then they also, before they fly out to the next city, they'll get to partake in this Tepo Indigenous Evening experience, which is also very special because they'll get to immerse in this like authentic Maori welcome ceremony and then witness the warriors challenge and be like mesmerized by the traditional performing arts war dance, and then also get to try Maori feast. So very special before they fly to Christchurch. And basically they'll fly from Rotorua to Christchurch and then pick up another rental car in the South Island in Christchurch. And then they'll drive to Queenstown, but they'll stop into Mount Cook on the way. And then once they're in Queenstown, they can drop off their car and then join this Milford tour and a nature cruise tour from Queenstown. This is a full day tour. It takes about 12 hours. It's a long drive, but it's so worth it. And if your clients have some budget for, I would recommend do the heli and cruise tour. It's only going to take 4 hours, and they'll like heli in, do the cruise and then heli out. So also very special. And again, this package includes a private arrival transfer from Auckland to the airport. So clients can relax and don't have to pick up the car right away. And then we include car rental from Auckland to Rotorua, and again, from Christchurch to Queenstown. And daily breakfast is included. In additional packages, we have New Zealand Discovery, which is a longer itinerary, still a self-drive, 14 days and 13 nights. The difference between this and the best of New Zealand would include, they include Wellington as well as Franz Joseph. And we also have New Zealand Essentials, includes Auckland, Rotorua, Christchurch, Queenstown, and Franz Joseph. So the only difference between this one and the best of New Zealand is the Franz Joseph part. And for accommodations in Auckland, we have Heritage Auckland, which is more of a lead-in 4-star. We have M Social Auckland, is a 4+, more contemporary style with almost 200 rooms, great view and location. And we have a Sofitel Auckland Viaduct Harbour, which is a beautiful luxury hotel located on the water edge in the heart of the central part of Auckland. Oops. And then for Rotorua, we have a few properties, anywhere from 4-star to 5-star. The Novotel is more affordable with 200 rooms, and we have the Region, which is more boutique, which is 35 rooms, and then the Treetops Lodge, which is really special. They only have 13 rooms, and it's more of like a luxurious rustic lodge. It's like nestled on the private native land and pristine wilderness, so very special. Queenstown, we have plenty of options in Queenstown, as a lot of clients would use Queenstown as a hub for their day trips. We have QT Queenstown. We've got Queenstown Park Boutique Hotel. It's a little bit far outside from town, but Queenstown's not very big, so it's still walking distant. And Azure Lodge, this one we recommend having a car there because it's just a little bit outside of the town. It's beautiful, luxury, 5-star. When I was there, someone just proposed, and the next day he just went golfing. So just have, for everyone, for couples and even family too. And that was it for New Zealand. Now we're moving on to Fiji. So Fiji has about 333 islands with just under 1 million people. So not a very big country, but they have so many islands to offer. So the main airport would be Nadi. And we have plenty of flights from the US. We have LA, which takes about just 11 hours, and San Francisco would take about 10 and a half hours. And what I love about their flights are that they depart late at night. Like I think it's almost midnight. So you'll basically get to Nadi in like really early morning, like 5 a.m. And you still have the rest of the day to enjoy, your beach time, enjoying you. So you basically don't have to take that many PTOs because you get a full day when you arrive too. And for flights, we have contracts with Fiji Airways, and then Air New Zealand and Hawaiian Airlines. And a lot of these airlines also offer stopover, so you can do multi-destinations within one trip easily. And to get around Fiji, there will be plenty of speedboats, catamarans, and then helicopters for some clients that have the budget for. Seasonality, the dry seasons between May through October, and then wet seasons between November through April. And even even during the wet season, they still have, a lot of resorts still open. I just think of it as like Hawaii, even though it rains, it's still really beautiful and still really warm. So it still definitely attracts a lot of clients. For currency, $1 Fijian dollars equals 44 cents. They do tipping here, but nothing like the US, where usually they just collect the tipping at the end of your stay. There'll be like a tip box at the hotel, and they usually just split it once a year before the holidays in December. And in terms of time zone, same time zone as New Zealand, which is 19 hours ahead of Pacific time. For highlights, they're really known for their welcoming culture. Whenever you get there, they'll say "bula" like everywhere you go with a big smile. You may not met all the staff at the hotel the first day, but then when you're walking around, everyone just recognize you and then just say hi by your name. So it's really great, and a lot of people would definitely come back like every year, like especially people from New Zealand and Australia. They usually take their kids there during spring breaks or summertime. So it's definitely a really great culture, really special, memorable. And when you get to the hotel, they'll sing you songs too. They'll have like a whole team singing you like, welcome songs. And then when you leave, they're like singing you farewell songs. It's just really beautiful. Romance, I don't have to talk much about this because it's really obvious, right? Beautiful country, crystal clear water, just relax, like great place for honeymooners or people who celebrating their anniversaries. But what people don't know about is that they're a very family-friendly destination. I was not aware of this until I got there. There's just so many, families there when I was there it was last year. But I was not. But it's really cool about is that a lot of properties would divide a section for adults only, and then for family-friendly section. So you don't really hear a lot of kids noises or anything like that. And then they also have like really great, like childcare during, during the day, so clients can just relax, by the pool or the beach by, their kids enjoying, activities with the locals. Wellness, plenty of spa options here, anywhere at your hotel, but there are also some, massage by the beach too. Really, really amazing. Adventures, nothing like New Zealand adventures, but they still have plenty of options, including something like snorkeling, kayaking, or scuba diving. They can enjoy these beautiful and vibrant soft corals, as this is the soft coral capitals of the world. One of the highlights would be the culture. Since Fiji was once colonized by Britain, they result into this beautiful blend of British, Indian, indigenous Fijian cultures. And that's also shows in the food as well. They have delicious like fresh seafood. And this is one of my favorite dishes ever. It's called kokonda, which is basically ceviche, but they add this fresh coconut milk. It's so good. And again, besides the hokey pokey in New Zealand, I need to find this recipe to try it on my next party. For packages, we have, we're starting out with a couple, but because Fiji, you can piece them pretty easily. You just have to figure it out how to fly, or how to connect between each different island. But a lot of times they'll route back through Nadi Airport. For this package, we include 2 nights in the main island, which is Viti Levu, is about the size of the big island in Hawaii. So 2 nights, you have an options between Coral Coast, Nadi, or Denarau, and then 5 nights in Yasawa. And then for Coral Coast, this is great for family and people into an adventure. You can travel by car to the southern part of the main island, and it takes anywhere between like 45 minutes to 2 hours, just depends on how fast or slow you're going. It's a beautiful stretch of white sand beach and great for snorkeling. And the Sikatoga River Safaris also departs from this area. And if your clients want to be more in the in town, Nadi would be the option for them because this is where the airport is, and they have plenty of shops and local markets in Nadi. Denarau is another great option. I stayed there last time. It's about 20 minutes away from Nandi Airport, and it is the gateway to the Western Islands like Mamanuca and Yasawa. It is a tourism hub because of the port, so it has a few restaurants and also a small market. And for this package, we include a Yasawa Island Resort and Spa, which is about 30-minute flights to the island. And you can only get there by their private plane, and it's a really beautiful and remote property. We definitely recommend it. This is more on the 5-star property, and each room, even though the islands are remote, each rooms also, feel very remote, because when you walk out, you almost feel like you have the whole beach by yourself. And then for this package, we include the Sikatoga River Safari Tour, which is departs from the main island. And we include arrival, departure, transfer per city, as well as daily breakfast. However, if the property is more remote, they might be not all inclusive per se, but more like all meals included, just so your clients don't have to worry about what to do for lunch and dinner. And then obviously there's not like options to get out the island to go to different places. So I recommend doing some sort of all meals inclusion, so they know what to expect. Another one that I want to highlight today is the Fiji short and sweet, 4 days and 3 nights. This one is very short, so it's basically a great add-on if clients are flying into Australia or New Zealand and want to do a quick stopover in Fiji. You can pick between Coral Coast, Nandi, or Denarau, but I would skip Nandi on this one just because they might want a more like a beach stay, and Coral Coast and Denarau are great destinations. And then they'll have a day trip out to like a beach club, so they get to still swimming in the beautiful crystal clear water. For accommodations, we have plenty to offer, not just what you see today. We also offer, in Savu Savu and the outer islands, in Taveuni. So plenty in different areas, not just the west coast, like west part of Fiji. For Denarau, as I mentioned, it's like more like a tourism hub. So all their properties are more like international brands like Sheraton, Sofitel, or Hilton. And all these properties are great for both families or honeymoon, couples. Yasawa accommodations, we have not only Yasawa Island, which is like more on the higher end on the price. We also have more lead-in properties like Navu 2 Stars Resort or Paradise Cove. Wow, that's it for me on South Pacific. Let me know if you have any questions later. But for now, I think I'm going to turn it over to Nate and Gina.
Thanks so much, Janet. Well, that is just 3 countries of 60 plus that we offer at Avanti. So you know that when we go into a new region, it's not superficial. It is quite deep, as Janet showed us today. So thanks so much, Janet. Lots of great information from you, and just love hearing about these 3 very different places. But I know that was a lot of information, even though we just did the overview today. So I just wanted to point you to some resources that can really help you when it comes to trying to take all these great itinerary suggestions, all this destination info, and actually present it to your customers. So of course, we have many e-brochures. We have, I think, over 45 titles right now on our shelves. So we have all sorts of thematic brochures. We have destination guides, which really just go into specific countries and tell you more about the seasonality, reasons why to travel. We have all the different destinations featured that Avanti offers, as well as recommended hotels, sightseeing experiences, and we give suggestions on how you put it all together through the recommended vacations, which, of course, as Janet mentioned, are customizable. So those you can easily share with your customers. All of the CTAs or call to actions ask consumers to contact their travel professional to book. So you never have to worry about those leads. But if you are looking to get more in-depth with us on our product line, we are hosting 3 more webinars this year. Janet, Nate, and I will be on, so you can hear more from us about specifically all the different destinations in each country. We also have a great sales team. So if you are looking at, selling more customized vacations, or if you want to learn more about Avanti, please feel free to reach out to them. They really are the experts in business development. They work with advisors all across the country, and they've done so for many years. So a lot of the questions or challenges that you might be facing, may have already solved it with someone else at some other time. So they are always really happy on sharing suggestions on how to implement and get more customized bookings into your portfolio. And you can reach out to us. So, of course, if you are ready to make a quote or a booking, you can always call our team. We're open currently from 6 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Pacific time, Monday through Friday. Soon, coming in 2024, we will have that Manchester office open, so they will be able to start taking your calls even earlier in the day. You can also reach out to us via email at requests@avantidestinations.com. That's typically a 1 business day turnaround. You can always visit us online 24/7. But before I hand it over to Nate, I just wanted to mention that if you are creating a booking with us, we are providing a 1% bonus commission if we do receive that risk deposit by the end of the year. So that's $400 per person on the land side. And if you want to opt in for that optional air deposit, that's an additional $400 per person in economy plus, or $1,000 per person in business or first class. And for anyone attending any of our in-person or virtual trainings dedicated to the South Pacific, you'll also receive a $50 gift card on each of your South Pacific bookings. You just also have to create that first payment by December 31st. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Nate to give us a short demo of our agent portal.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Janet and Gina and everybody else for that intro and everything. So, we've talked about a wonderful couple of destinations here, and we've talked about a lot of wonderful products and services. So let me just kind of put it into a space where you guys can all go and engage with it. So, for those of you who don't know, we have a very wonderful agent portal that I manage with my team, and that's located at book.avantidestinations.com. Everything is hidden behind a login. So, you guys do need to register with us. If you have registered, if your agency, is registered with us and you need to set up an individual account, you can just click this button right here. It'll take you through the process. It'll take you about 5 minutes. And then if you need to register your agency, you can go ahead and do that there. It's about 1 business day turnaround. So I'm just going to go very quickly through here because I know that we don't have very much time, and I want to give a little bit of space for questions. So first and foremost, every time you enter into our agent portal, you are met with any information that we have about our new products or something new with a feature that's listed here. You can see it's our agent portal specifically dedicated to the places that we're talking about now. We also have upcoming trainings. Me and my team do trainings on Tuesdays and Thursdays every single week. So I'm going to show you extremely quickly how you can just jump in and build something like that Sydney Rock and Reef combination that Janet was talking about. So I have entered into our destination guide. This actually was launched about 2 weeks ago, and it's a really great place to digest all those resources that Gina was talking about, any inspirational material or travel tips or featured product that Janet and her team have curated. But I want to show you just one thing right here, which is our Explore function. And this is the thing that makes me the most excited because it's really fun to play with. So within this space, you can see here's Australia, right? And if I wanted to go ahead and engage with any place on this map, let's say, for example, Sydney, or maybe I wanted to figure out where I could see a koala, you can always just click on these spaces. So I'm going to click into the Sydney, and I'm going to go ahead and explore it. So we talked about, seeing the Opera House. We talked about all these different things that you can do there. Well, within this destination guide, you can kind of zoom in. You can engage with the city center itself. You can click around. You can see all the different products and services that we offer. We talked a lot about a lot of great tour services, right? There are all of these categorically curated for you to be able to scroll through and take a peek, right? We also have all of those wonderful recommended packages that Janet talked about that are within this space right here. So you can do that at the individual city level. Let me check my timer here. Okay, we're doing good. We also have a lot of great packages, right? So they talked about, a lot of these wonderful ones, but I want to show you this thing that me and my colleague have designed that works really well for this, which is our thing that's called routes. And these are popular routings within a particular country. Now, this exists for anything that you would want to do. You can just go up to any region that you want or any specific destination. So let's say that I want to do the Sydney Rock and Reef. Well, I can just click on it and it draws it on the page for me. So it shows me the routing that's attached to that. And it also provides me a recommended number of nights for each one. So very quickly, I'm going to show you how you could take this and tangibly turn it into something you could show your client. So I'm going to key in arrival date. Let's go next month. And all I'm going to do is click this button. Now, this is another tool that we have on our website that comes in from our destination guide, but is also up here in this quote function. This thing allows you to enter in those number of nights, destinations and number of nights, and with a minimal amount of information, this is going to create you a fully completed itinerary. And when I say fully completed itinerary, what I mean by that is it's going to give you inbound and outbound transfer services for every single destination. It's going to give you the star quality of hotel that you offered. It is going to give you a tour experience on every single day that's not an arrival or a departure. And it's going to put everything on the page for you. From there, you can engage with the product further. You can omit things if you would like. You can change the hotel services. You can change the tour services. You can do anything. It's a very flexible tool to be able to kind of get your clients something quick. So, we have to send all these calls to, the other side of the world. So it does take a minute here, but, I've never seen this process with 3 cities take any more than maybe 2 minutes of time. When I traditionally do this type of a demo for people, this process for me from start to finish to be able to share something tangible with my client would be less than 5 minutes if I do what I was doing, maybe 10 minutes. With an average hold time that probably exceeds that, this is the fastest way for anyone to be able to come in and take a peek at that. I'm going to try to get this done as soon as I can, so there is some space for questions there. I know we're not going to be able to answer everything today, but I also want to say that I'm available to answer any and all product related, or sorry, Janet's probably the product person, but any web related questions that you may have on how to take any of this information and turn it into something easy for your clients. So hold on just 1 second here. We'll figure this out. So we're done. So now I have a fully priced package that did take 2 minutes. But you can see that as I engage with this, I can see that I've got 3 nights, 2 nights, 4 nights. I've got a transfer service. I've got a hotel service. I've got 2 tour services. I can add intercity airfare right here. Again, I know I don't have time to explain everything, but all you would need to do is move down to the bottom of the page, go ahead and save this, give it a name. And if I wanted to save it, all I would need to do is save that. And from here, I can share something with my clients. I can create a PDF for my clients. I can actually book this and add passenger names and go through the deposit area. There's so many feature-rich things, that you can do with this process that you can kind of engage with your country at that level. So anyways, there's a lot of really, really good information here. I just want to say we have a lot of great webinars on this section that are located in this webinar space. I'm going to leave it right here for the Q&A part of it. I'd love to teach you guys more, but I don't have any more time.
Thank you. Please post any questions that you have in the chat, and we'll ask those to the speakers. Just to get the ball rolling, though, what would you say are the best times to visit Australia, New Zealand, and Fiji?
Anytime, not year round. It just really depends because, the great part is they have the opposite seasons, so you can enjoy the summer here that we have here, and then continue on going, to the southern hemisphere destinations and enjoying the rest of summertime too. But there's some shorter seasons where it's like not as crowded. So I say just anytime. It just really depends on your clients. I saw the questions here about the rainy season. They don't have rainy season in in New Zealand, but yeah, the wet season is between May through October. And I went there in May, and I know the North Islands kind of experienced a lot of heavy rain. The South Island didn't have a problem at all. So yeah, it just really depends.
Okay. If you had to pick one top experience in each of the destinations, what would it be?
One top what? I'm sorry.
One top experience.
Ooh, for Australia, I do like their Sydney like opera house tour. I like Sydney a lot. So like everything is about, you know, the opera house. And then, you know, I did the Sydney tour is really great, but I did the bridge climb in at the Harbor Bridge, and that's really incredible. I've never thought I could climb a bridge. So if you're not afraid of height, I would recommend adding that one in, and then you can do that, you know, during the sunset as well. So it's beautiful scene. And for New Zealand, I would have to say is one of the helicopter tours I did in Mount Cook. It was just so beautiful. You get to see the glacier, different landscape, and then you know, I totally thought I would be afraid of a helicopter. I'm not afraid of height, but helicopter, small space, you know, like a small plane just scared me, the thought of it. But it was actually very safe, very great. Everyone was so professional. They really know what they're doing there. So I would say one of the helicopter tours for New Zealand. And then for Fiji, you know, just pick the best property and just lounge there. So for Fiji is more on just relaxing, and then people are just so friendly and so kind. When I visit there last year, I knew that I'm gonna go back. So next time, maybe with my husband or family.
Mm-hmm. I don't think we have any more questions. I know that a lot of them were already answered in the Q&A box. So I'm probably going to end the session unless anybody has anything else that they would like to add in the box, which I don't think they do. So thank you again to Avanti Destinations and our speakers for this webinar. And also congratulations to the winners, Amy Carrido and Dale Pierre. And someone from Avanti will reach out to you after the session with your details of your prize. And everyone will also be receiving an email with a recording of the webinar in the next few days. So if there are no further questions, I will say thank you again to our speakers and end the presentation. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.